Bob Hayes here from the Unwreckables, and we're moving on to Level 4, Steps 11 through 13 of the PSIA Beginner Alpine Curriculum, where our students will progress to Wedge Christies and start matching their skis. Step 11 is called Providing Mileage and Guidance. That basically means at this point, we want our students to get in a bit of free skiing where they can explore the joys of skiing without introducing anything new, yet we will observe and correct any errors we may see. When you do see something, keep your comments positive and do not harp on the mistake, just demonstrate the correct way and move on. If you see something good, tell them. You may want to demonstrate an error that you are seeing, but try not to exaggerate the movement. Your student may not recognize an exaggerated example as their own movement.
Another example is wait fore and aft. We want a good stance, but don't show them leaning back like this, right? Just if they're standing up a little too right, just show them. Skiing is such a subtle thing, subtle movements. Show them subtly. We're just moving from here to here, right? Again, don't show some crazy, outrageous version of what they're doing because they're not going to recognize it. They will understand, hey, I'm here, we need to go to here. Okay?
Here are some things to look for at this point. The uphill ski should be slightly forward of the downhill ski during the traverse and as they initiate the turn. And then the inside ski should move forward as they start to cross the fall line and will be in the correct position as the inside ski becomes the new uphill ski after the turn. Make sure they are not leaning too far back and that they are maintaining a solid athletic stance with their hands forward, roughly shoulder width apart throughout their turns. Make sure they are not leaning into the turn and putting weight on their inside ski. Make sure they are not using their upper body to forcibly twist their lower body into a turn. Make sure their wedge is not so large that they are slowing down too much and getting into edge lock. Make sure their turn radius is not too large. This also may be a good time to introduce wedge garlands, so your student can get the feel of the subtle differences between rotation, edging, and pressure. Simply have them start in a diagonal wedge traverse and initiate a turn, but have them come back to the traverse and continue this across the slope. Once your student seems to really have wedge turn mechanics down, it's time to introduce the concept of matching and skidding in Step 12. We get there through a progression of drills. Technically, hockey stops are part of Step 13, but I like to introduce them now as a first experience of skidding in Step 12.
We are going to initiate our first hockey stop, which is where skis are parallel. You're not going to use the wedge. Very easy on a traverse. Get going. All we're doing real simple. All right. So again, traverse. Nice posture. We're just gonna do a nice slide, and that's our first basic hockey stop. Make sure when we finish, we do want to keep our shoulders a little bit downhill, so you got to introduce that to them. You don't want them finishing facing uphill. If you see their skis slip out, that's the first indication that their weight is wrong. So athletic stance, finish this way. All right, it's on to the next step.
The next step after a hockey stop is to attempt one single wedge turn where they match their skis after they cross the fall line and come to a stop. Let's slow that down and take a look at it step by step. First, have them go into a smaller wedge and start a traverse. But if you take away their wedge, you need to give them something else to slow them down. They will be going faster now with a smaller wedge. They need to slow themselves down in another manner. So, as soon as they cross the fall line, they should start to match their skis and go into a skid at the bottom of the turn to slow down. Once they have started the skid, they can continue into a hockey stop, showing some counter rotation with their upper body aimed partially down the fall line in a good athletic stance. In step 13, we will introduce parallel traversing with wedge Christie turns, as well as some additional drills to improve matching and skidding skills. For a wedge Christie turn, your student will start in a diagonal parallel traverse, go into a wedge, make a turn, and then match after the turn with skis shoulder width apart. Try one, and then try linking several together. Linked wedge Christies will be a repeating sequence of traverse, wedge, matching, and back to traverse continually down the slope. In addition to hockey stops, step 13 also comprises garlands and side slipping as a way to improve matching and skidding skills.
From an athletic stance, our shoulders somewhat downhill, our upper ski a little head. I'm sitting with my knees in, I'm locked. What I want to do, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to release my knees, and I'm just slipping. So again, I'm downhill, facing downhill, release my knees. And then try it both sides.
If you see your student sliding either forward or backward, it's probably because their shoulders are too far over their skis or possibly even facing uphill. That's a wrap for Skier Level 4, Steps 11 through 13. Look for Level 1 Alpine Instructor Exam Prep in our next video.